Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's training. As you can see, I've changed things up a bit. You can now see this part of me. I actually am not just shoulders and a head. So, good morning, guys. Let's see here. So I'm Marshall Burtcher. If you're new to me, I help codependents rediscover happiness and healthy relationships after narcissistic abuse, trauma bonding, love addiction, and trauma in itself. So that's what I do. Clients typically see results within 4 to 6 weeks and start seeing lasting results within 6 months, and within a year they're really changing their world. Oh, also I need to share this out to the community, so I need to go over here and click some buttons. So the community is your safe haven on the internet where you can find support, you can find guidance, you can find understanding. People believe you. People that are going through the same journey you are, you can join them in rediscovering yourself after codependency. You also get access to tools and trainings from me, opportunities to work with me, and more. Yeah, I'll throw that on there just to be a little like pitchy there. So here we go. I gotta click a button. Share to the group. There's the group. I have now shared it to the group. Yay. So if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, the link to the community is above on Facebook and below on YouTube. And I'm also publishing these on my Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, go to my website, www.freetheself.com, and you can find a link to the community at the bottom. It says the community. Click it, join, be ready to go. You can also find access to my other videos there by clicking on the YouTube button on the front page of the website. All right, so here we go. Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. Today we are resuming what we were discussing yesterday on what do I need to own in my role in the toxic relationship, right? So yesterday we talked about what we needed to identify and what they were doing. What was I ignoring and what they were doing, right? So boundary violations, escalations, entitlements. Let's see, I wrote some things down. Yeah. Patterns of behavior, any kind of abuse showing up, things like that. Even compatibility, all that good stuff. So today we're going to talk about what did I ignore in me? What did I ignore in my feelings, my intuition? Did I ignore my own boundaries? Did I ignore my own standards? Did I bypass myself in order to keep this relationship? What conflicts did I ignore or avoid? How did I give myself up to keep this person? These are the things we need to really confront, because this is where our power is. See, yesterday is really about them. We don't have any say in that. They're going to be what they are. Our job is to acknowledge it, accept it, and then make a decision based on this question: how does that fit with my well-being and happiness? And then when you get your answer to that, you take the action that's appropriate to that answer. So your goal here isn't to build tolerance of toxic relationships. Your goal here is to build healthy relationships, which means you're going to be saying no a lot to people. Okay? Even if they're healthy, even if they're just spot on, things are great. If it's not compatible, you're just not happy, that's okay. That's enough. You can say no to that relationship and move on. Because again, relationships are built on the premise of consent. You're not obligated to them in any shape or fashion, regardless of the context of the relationship. Even marriage doesn't obligate you to anything. Marriage is a consensual commitment to another human being, right? And so we want to honor that. We want to respect that and empower ourselves to make strong, confident decisions with people who show up in ways that allow us to succeed in being ourselves and grow the relationship with them. So things we want to look at that we've ignored in ourselves. So codependency has a tendency to bypass ourselves. We put ourselves sometimes completely off the table. We don't want to hear ourselves. We don't want to listen to ourselves, because sometimes our intuition, our awareness, our pain is telling us this isn't working, and we don't want to believe that. We don't want to believe it because this means we're going to be alone again. This means we have to wrestle with our loneliness again, our emptiness again. This feels like maybe it's a confirmation that we're worthless, that we're really not lovable, that nobody would want to love or keep us, or that we're broken in some way. So we tend to bypass ourselves. The other thing is we get into a fantasy, the fantasy of potential. But what if they change? What if I could change them? What if I could make them different? This is cruel. This is unkind to yourself and to them. We don't have the right to change anybody. We don't have the right to think that we can. It is best for us to take people as they show themselves to be and make decisions from there. Because if we have a fantasy or an expectation that they're going to change, we are actively denying them. We are rejecting who they are and how they show up in the world for our benefit. That is, in some ways, you could look at it from the angle of maybe I'm being dishonest with myself and with them, right? We want to respect people as they show up, meaning, okay, you're this kind of person, I'm going to respect that. What that means is I'm not going to try to change it. Instead, I'm going to make choices that are aligned for me in this world, for my well-being and my happiness. That allows you to have healthy, yeah, they could be healthy relationships, healthy, fulfilling relationships, because you're choosing relationships based on what you want, how you want it, and based on how they show up. This is the who approach to relationships. This means you're building connection with people who are intrinsically compatible and available to you. This is how we do that. But we have to be very honest with ourselves, meaning like this isn't working. So I can ask for change. I can see what that change might turn into. But if they don't change, they don't change. And then you got to make some decisions about what you're going to do with that. This is the real rub here. When we start checking in within ourselves, what was I ignoring about the signals they were giving, right? Am I ignoring my intuition that this is off? Am I ignoring how empty I feel? Am I ignoring that I'm trying to change them? Am I trying to change myself? Am I trying to become what I think is ideal for them so that they'll keep me? Am I not rocking that boat? Am I avoiding the conflicts that are necessary? Am I not speaking up for me? Am I not sharing what I genuinely want? What did I ignore in me while I was going around in this relationship that needed attention? So these are the things we need to explore here. So I've got several of them written down, and you guys are gonna have a guide on this, a nice little guide where you can go through these sections with these videos and work with this. So the first one is intuition. Did I ignore or bypass an intuition that this person wasn't healthy for me? Was something off when the relationship started? Yeah, a lot of times we can sense it and we ignore it. So you gotta be really conscious about that. Really, really mindful of that. Second one is feelings. Now this isn't just the euphoria feelings. This is about the pain. This is about the confusion. This is about something isn't meshing right. We need to acknowledge those feelings. They're valid. They're real. They're important. The other thing we have to do with feelings is to recognize if we are making the euphoric or the love feelings primary. We're elevating or escalating them above all other ones, making them more important than they are. Okay? And I call this the primacy of emotion. The more intense the emotion, the more important it is. That's a fantasy. It's a fiction we tell ourselves. What matters is, am I acknowledging the pain? And am I acknowledging that I might be bypassing my pain so I can keep this other feeling going? That's honesty, and that's a hard one, having to have done that many times myself. So we need to acknowledge our pain and what's off and what's not working for us. Okay, so the next one is our fantasy. Do I have a fantasy about who this person is? Am I trying to keep them in some way? Am I trying to make them into something they're not? Am I have a fantasy about what I should be that will keep them? We've got to confront these elements of, am I living in fantasy? Or am I willing to access reality and see what's really going on? We have to do that consciously and consistently and persistently in our world so that we can be healthy, so that we can be in contact with reality. That's essential to our well-being. So what hopes do I have, and are these hopes realistic based on the context of the relationship and its past behavior? If I'm hoping that they'll change and they've never changed anything in the relationship, they've never evolved in a behavior and they've never done anything differently, I gotta hope based on fiction and fantasy rather than based on something I can predict. Okay? We shouldn't choose relationships and keep relationships based on hope. We should choose them based on the reliable pattern of behavior and experience we have with the relationship. That way we know we're making a decision that's honest and clear for ourselves, and it's safe and secure for us, for our well-being. So, the next one is to check in with your needs and wants. Are your needs being acknowledged? Are they being respected? Are they being valued? Do they feel fulfilled? Do they feel seen? Do I feel safe to share my needs? Do I feel secure in having them met? Am I allowing them to be met? Am I allowing myself to feel the nurture of that need? Do I even know what my needs are? Those are questions we need to be investigating within ourselves. Lastly is boundaries. Have I ignored my own boundaries? Have I ignored my need, my want? Have I ignored myself? Have I allowed myself, my space, my territory to be compromised or violated in order to keep them? That's what we need to really pay attention to. Am I giving myself up? Am I pleasing them to keep them? Am I bypassing me in order to keep their love? Because that's earning love. That's a transactional value problem. Real healthy relationships, and yes, they exist. I know because I'm in one. And I have 54 marriages under my belt in my work in the last 4 years on this. And they're thriving, and they're growing, and they're doing their thing. It is possible, guys. It's probably more on the probable side if we do the work that gets us aligned with the right people so that we can build those kinds of relationships. But it starts with, I respect my boundaries. I know my needs and wants, and I advocate for them. I value them. I'm choosing people that value my boundaries, my needs and wants, that value me and how I feel, right? I'm choosing people based on the reality of who they show up, not on the fantasy of who I would like them to be or hope that they'll become. These are this is a big self-check. It's a big reality check on ourselves to go, am I doing this out of fantasy? Am I doing this out of reality, right? So we got to check in with what we've been ignoring in yourself. So to review, have you been ignoring your intuition? Have you been ignoring your feelings and your pain? Have you been ignoring reality by using fantasy? Have you been basing things on hope rather than on predictability? Have you been ignoring your needs and wants? Have you been ignoring your boundaries? Have you been giving yourself up in order to keep them? That's the rub. This is what we need to check in with ourselves so that we can see where to grow and get into connection with self. That's the journey here, because I've seen this lately in the community and some other posts. It's a scary thing to come in contact with self because we think self is bad, we think self is wrong, we believe self is shameful or inadequate, or will just never be lovable. I've got to be different to be loved is a major thing that I wrestled with in codependency. You're welcome, Jasmine. And when I started to switch that around, I deserve to be loved as I am, that made reality really raw, really clear. Because suddenly I don't have a fantasy anymore. I'm dealing with hard facts. This person and their behavior doesn't translate to love for me. They're harmful. But this person over here does. So I need to learn how to connect and relate to them if I want to. Learning to love ourselves and learning to be ourselves is the journey out of codependency. It's about discovery of self and realization that we were never the problem. who we are didn't cause their behavior. Who we are didn't cause them to neglect us. Who we are didn't cause them to abuse us or to abandon us. Our needs didn't cause that. Our wants or feelings didn't cause that. There's nothing we did that motivated them to do that. What motivated them to do that is their programming, their belief, their pain. And we can't change that. We have to release responsibility and give it back to them, because that is their journey. That is their lesson. That is where they evolve. Our evolution is in, hey, I am still whole and I am still lovable despite not being loved by that person. Okay? That's the journey into it. And coming into loving ourselves means I accept me as I am. And I allow myself to feel what I feel, to value what I feel, to like who I am, to like the things I like, to praise and appreciate myself, and to hold space with myself, to care for me, to care about what I feel, to care about what I need and what I want, to value myself. This is all a journey. And it's not a mental journey, guys. It's a somatic journey. It's here in the heart. It's a felt journey. And there's a wrestle with shame. There's a wrestle with guilt. There's a wrestle with numbness and trauma. There's a wrestle with needs and wants in this. And this is part of us growing out of the tangle that we were put into through the abuse. So take your time. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind with yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve compassion and understanding from you. Okay? Guys, I appreciate you. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Explore these factors for yourself. Let me know what you discover. Keep yourself safe out there, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's training. Okay? Have a great day.